Hey, welcome to Silhouette America. Today I'm going to show you how to make these fabric flowers to put on a wreath using the clean cut interfacing. Alright, to get started, I downloaded a 3D flower from the online store and then I laid it out. After you choose the flower you want to use, determine how many flowers you want and the different sizes they will be. So I cut the base flower out of cardstock as a template to see how big they will be on my wreath, kind of like right here I'm showing you. I did 3 different sizes. So after you do that, to make multiple flowers that are different sizes, the easiest way I have found to do that is to copy and paste the flower set and drag one corner with your cursor to resize everything at once to be bigger or smaller. So like, for example, you do that and then just hold down shift if you want to resize it. After you've figured out what sizes you want all your flowers to be, I recommend keeping each flower set in its own grouping, and then what you will want to do is draw a rectangle around each group of flower, like I'm showing you here. This helps determine the size that your fabric is going to need to be. So to know what size your rectangle is, go to the scale window. And then under specified dimensions, this is how big it'll be, roughly 10 by 9.5. You will save a lot on fabric and interfacing if you do this way. If there are 2 flowers that will be cut out of the same fabric, you can group them together like I did here with the gray flowers. Another thing that was very helpful is that I typed the color of the fabric above each flower, so I knew which fabric to use to cut out the flowers. You don't have to do this unless it helps you to. So once you have figured out all your measurements for each flower with the rectangles and stuff like that, you can cut out your fabric interfacing to those sizes. To iron the interfacing to the fabric, flip your fabric over so the back side shows, and then line up your interfacing to your fabric with the textured side down, face down on the fabric, and then grab your iron that you preheated to your fabric settings, which is mine is on the cotton settings, and place down on top of the interfacing. Iron it on and make sure you cover the whole fabric so the interfacing is stuck to the fabric. Once you are done ironing, after it has cooled down, peel off the paper backing and the interfacing should now be on your fabric. Now place the fabric on your cutting mat with the interfacing side down and line it up so the fabric is on the top left side of your cutting mat. And then change your fabric blade setting to 3 and line up your mat and select enter to load. Since we are cutting the gray fabric first, select that group of flowers and put it on the document at the top left corner, and then delete the rectangle so that the silhouette does not cut that part out, and you are set to cut. So go to the cut style settings window, or the cut settings window, and then select fabric cotton print if that's the kind of fabric that you are using, and then it will say to change your blade to 3, which you already did, and then hit cut. Alright, once it's done cutting, hit enter to unload, and then peel the fabric with the interfacing off the cutting mat. Make sure that when you are peeling off the flowers that you do it carefully so you don't stretch your fabric from pulling it or so it doesn't fray. And your flowers should look something like this when they are cut out, nice and clean cut. Now that I have peeled everything off, your flower should look something like this as well. I'm going to add a button by sewing it all together. So to assemble the flower, take one of the big petals and then layer the other one on top so you can still see the petals of the bottom layer, and then just keep layering all the petals on top of each other. And then after you have that all done, what you want to do is you want to grab your button on top so it's centered, and take your needle and thread it and sew through it. I found it easier to use a thinner needle to go through all the layers with the interfacing. So if you want to try that, it might be a little bit easier. Once you're done with your flower, it should look something like these ones. To give it extra dimension, I scrunch the petals up around the button, and then to attach them to the wreath, I hot glue them. And that is one way you can use the fabric interfacing. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.